G'day, Doggies fans. Before we get into the video or the podcast, check out our competition sponsor, Footyhead. It's footyhead.com.au. They've got a bunch of special limited edition Vegas shirts where all teams are represented. Go to their website, check out all their different awesome shirts from small through to 5XL. Check out footyhead.com.au. Now it's time to enjoy the podcast. Check it out. Let's go.
Signature blend thing there. They've got all these. I'll check those out. See if you're looking at those.
Will we still look around?
Yeah, of course.
Guys, I was on fucking mute. There we go. G'day, people. All Things Bulldogs. We won. We won. We won. Well done.
Woo-hoo!
Gas on location. He's getting some Habibi chocolate. There you go. He's
got the nights,
kick.
guys.
What a week it's been. What a build-up. And what a win.
Unbelievable.
We'll wait for a bunch of people to jump on. We're going to celebrate this win. We're going to break it down. We're going to, obviously, there'll be a few people who will be a bit nervous or whatever or aren't 100% happy. Seen some comments, but we're also going to announce our winners. 3 winners have won a Footyhead T-shirt. I'm also inviting our competition sponsor to also come on and announce the winners. I'm just telling him to click on the link and can come on the live stream. Hopefully he'll be able to come on and we'll get him up there. He's coming on very, very shortly. And we'll also do the draw, and the winner is going to win a Jacob Preston, the first try scorer, number plate for the winner. Got about 50 people that I've put into that draw. So there you go. And here's Steve. Going to bring Steve on. Hello, Steve. How you going, mate?
Good, mate.
G'day, Steve. G'day, mate. How you doing?
G'day, how are you?
Welcome. Very good,
no
mate.
Preparation for you, buddy. Straight into it. Podcast. Great to meet you.
Straight on in.
There you go. What did you think about the day, mate? What did you think about the game?
Yeah, it was good. They looked a little bit rusty in some parts, I thought. Like, I don't know, through the middle, the Saints were getting through the middle a fair bit, which was a bit kind of a thing, like, you know, the quick sort of dummy half runs. They were making some area through there, but Saints also had some good defence going on. But, bloody happy for them to get the win, though. Like, you know, like I've got a few Saints supporters, so I was copping it a bit. But, Critter came through with the goods.
Yeah, mate, they got behind our ruck a few times there. I felt they that first try they got. You can tell that was a perfectly executed plan A, plan B movement. They tried the same sort of thing later and got another try off the offload. They played very well, and I felt their kicking game, whilst it was sort of forced me, they got some length off their kicks, and that was a big ace for the Dragons because that was something I did not expect. Flanagan's often struggled, but Atkinson got so much distance on his kicks and proved to me that he's got game, that kid. And I said it'd be an ambush, and they nearly pulled it off, but class prevailed in round 1, and we got the job done.
Yeah, but, that's right.
I just want to... I just wanted to introduce you, Steve, and thank you so much for partnering with us and really making a great competition for the members. We love the shirts. Everybody who wears a shirt and tries it on just understands how good they are. They feel comfortable. They look good. It's an Aussie larrikin rugby league culture through every design. And now we've got 3 winners. Did you want to announce those winners for the people now?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Let me just get the notes up. So, yeah, firstly, I just want to say thanks as well for getting Footyhead involved, because, you know, it's awesome to see, you know, you guys so passionate about the game, and then also obviously being a Bulldogs supporter, couldn't help but, you know, want to get involved. So thank you. And to everyone who kind of liked and joined all the different socials and all that sort of stuff, thanks for everyone for getting into competition. So I'll start with I'll go through the 3 winners of the first winner was Akram Zoe. There we go. So congratulations, mate.
Hey.
I believe you're getting yourself a Viva Los Belmore t-shirt, so that's awesome. I'll get that out to you this week. And the second place was, we're not doing the music, the drum roll?
Yep.
There we go. Was Tim Gray.
Hey, Timmy.
So, Tim, I'm going to get out to you one of the new drops, which is the Dogs of War t-shirt, which is it's a new design, so that will be going out to you as well this week. Not least is Jack Barber.
Well done, Jack.
Barber. Congratulations, mate.
Hey, Jack. Well done, Jack.
I'm going to
Good
get
stuff,
out
mate.
as well to you. I'll get your Viva Los Belmore limited edition shirt out, and that will be heading out this week as well. So
Awesome.
congratulations to you 3 guys, and also
Thank you
to
so
everyone
much for
who
your support, mate.
joined into the comp. Yeah, no
thank
worries.
you so much to everyone who entered. And Steve, tell me a little bit about Footyhead. Give it a plug.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Footyhead, like basically, if you know, like as a rugby league player back in the 90s, there was all those sort of, you know, culture sort of calls that you'd hear from the crowds yelling out, you know, and they can't run without legs and all that sort of stupid sort of stuff that, you know, any rugby leagues supporter would know.
My mum's
and we
favourite.
thought, we thought it'd just be fun, just to have a bit of fun with some t-shirts, you know, and kind of get those sort of shirts out there where if you know sort of thing. You know, if you're a footy head, you'll kind of look at it and go, yeah, that's kind of funny, you know. So that's kind of where we're at with it, and just playing on, really the footy culture and having a bit of fun with it. So by all means, if anyone's got any ideas or any sort of other sayings that, you know, that are out there, email them across and jump onto footyhead.com.au. And if you subscribe as well, we'll give you a 10% discount code. So subscribe at footyhead.com.au to our email list. You get yourself a discount code. Plus, if you do come up with a Footyhead t-shirt idea and we make it up, obviously we'll give you a freebie. So, just get involved. It's just a bit of fun. A bit of fun. And it's just a shirt for footy fans. So, have a bit of fun with it.
It's a win-win for everyone.
Yep. Beautiful, mate.
That's it.
And hopefully we'll have a dog father one out there shortly.
That's right. We're working on that one too. So we'll get onto that. Just wanted to get the Vegas stuff done first, and then we'll get the dog father one done. Yeah,
really well done, mate. It was a pleasure meeting you, and you know, maybe we can do something else later in the year, hopefully. You know, and I'm going to keep you on the website, a link to your website and stuff. We'll keep the little logo going, just as a thank you to everything you've done for us in relation to this, and hopefully it's got a few more little sales for you, a bit more awareness, and bit by bit it'll trickle in a little bit more, and grow from there. Well done,
Appreciate it.
mate.
Yeah,
Well
look,
done.
it's just good to be involved with like-minded people. So thank you.
Yeah. All right, mate. I know you had dinner guests and everything like that. So I'll let you get back to it. Feel free to keep watching. We're going to get into a review. We've been going every night this week, so I'm going to have tomorrow off.
Sounds good.
It's been great. All right, mate. Well, it was great to meet you in the flesh and have a really good chat.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to Steve,
thanks,
everyone.
mate.
And I might see one of you guys at the game soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mate. Let's catch up. Let's catch up.
Don't break the fence flag in the kennel, mate.
All right.
See you, Steve.
Yeah, I know where to find you.
All right.
See you guys. Take it easy.
See you,
Awesome.
mate. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
guys.
Thank you so much. Bye. There you go, everyone. That was Steve from Footyhead. He supplied the 3 winners have been announced. We had Akram. He actually came first in the competition. He named the team exactly in the right order, number perfect. So well done to him. And he put that in quite a while ago. Timmy also got it done with he had the team right. He just had the order around a little bit wrong. And Jack Barber also had the team right. And the thing was, he actually he forgot to put Leo Thompson in, and it actually worked out really well for him. He's like, oh shit, I'm going to lose. I put Leo. I didn't put Leo in the team, and then it worked out really well for him. So we're going to do the draw a bit later for everyone who entered. And had their some people didn't put their details on and stuff, which is funny, but none of them actually got it right, which is good. But we've got about 50, 60 people that'll be on the spinning wheel, and they'll win a Jacob Preston license plate. I'll show you it here. Right here, guys.
We're looking for you. Where are you?
Beautiful looking Jacob Preston license plate. You can go get it signed or whatever. All righty. Let's check out some chats, Gas. What are you drinking, Gas? What's the drink tonight?
I'm just having a bit of my daughter's drink. She's got
Bubble
some
bar.
bubble bar, something blue and bubbly. And you get a blue tongue. So it's fitting to get a blue tongue today for what we've done. So, yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve, for all his support. And we'll definitely catch up on the kennel, mate.
All right. What's that been happening, Gas?
Mate,
What
yeah, mate.
like at the Leagues Club today, mate?
Mate, Leagues Club was absolutely packed, mate. It was an amazing atmosphere. It was like 99% Bulldog supporters. Thankfully, there was only the sporadic ones wearing the red and white. But it was everybody was extremely well behaved. It was great atmosphere. People were sort of sitting on the edge of their seats the whole game. And then obviously when that final kick went over, as I'm sure with everyone around the world, there was just a massive eruption and celebration. And then obviously, you might have seen the video I posted, guys. There was even a Bulldog chant that came in straight after it. It was just jubilation. I mean, it kind of reminds us of those grand final victories. It kind of reminds me of those guys like when we were at, when people go to the Leagues Club, and there's always that sort of stuff happening there as well. So yeah, very, very exciting. But I've got quite a few things to talk about with regards to the game. So so when you start getting into the review, mate, I'll give you my point of view as well.
100%. Lots to break down. I was very, very happy with the performance. I felt, Dragons definitely brought. I knew there was going to be an ambush. I knew that we were going to have to win that game, and Dragons the same. We'll go through all the stats. I actually haven't looked at the player stats yet, but I'll tell you who I was very happy with throughout the game. I felt there's some really big moments in that game for us. We did have a bit of luck as well, but when you become one of the better sides, you start to make your own luck. And
Yeah.
There were some moments in that game where things were just overlooked and taken for granted against us as well. We didn't let it worry us. We got some calls, which if they went against us, I wouldn't have been happy about. So I can understand from a Dragons fan's point of view, but they had opportunities to win and they weren't good enough. Simple as that. They had their opportunities. They didn't win the game. We won it with 6 seconds to go. A draw might have been a fair result, but I felt that we were the better side for the majority of the match and deserved the victory. And it was a defence incorporated victory that, we'll continue to build on, and that attack will continue to get better. Couple of moments. Tracy throws that beautiful cutout pass, hospital pass to Montoya. If he goes short to Cherry, Cherry scoring, in my opinion. I felt most of our team played really well today. And Ciraldo, as a coach, put that team under the absolute sword. He could have made some changes earlier in that second half, but didn't. He let those players burn. He let those players absorb pressure. He let those players do their job. And whilst, there was a couple of moments that they struggled in, I felt they did a wonderful job to win that match. And the Dragons need to be credited I felt the ace for them was their kicking game. If you go watch last year, they just didn't have that penetration with their kicks, that distance with their kicks. I think the stadium probably helps as well, with no sort of atmosphere. It's closed roof and whatever else. But Atkinson, the length on his kicks that he got and the way they set things up allowed them to go in the grind with us, and they nearly beat us in the grind, which shows that the Dragons are heading in the right direction. You cannot deny that one bit. But let's get through let's do a few of your chats, and then I'll bring up the statistics and we'll get stuck into it. Make sure we're liking and sharing, guys.
I'll tell you, when you finish doing those chats, mate, I'll tell you who my man of the match was before we get into the stats, okay?
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's see if I agree. Shelly 68, Vegas excitement all week, hard to concentrate, clunky as hell. We'll take any win. Yeah, mate, I was wrapped on how nervous they looked. They looked so nervous, but that actually made me feel stronger about the performance. They didn't, they had a good time, and they joke around this team. They got a great culture, but they were serious about that game, and they were up against good opposition, man, that did a good job. It was so interesting, but I thought Burton kicked, but it was the captain. Yeah, exactly. And didn't he nail it? 5 seconds to go. He puts it right through the middle. We got a good call. I will say that, if it's called a loose carry, I can't argue with it. But the ref had the balls to make a call, and they had no challenges left. That's the way it fucking goes. That's the way it goes.
I mean, Michael, even in that set as well, we should have got a 6 again as well. So he didn't call that. He didn't want to call that, but we ended up getting that one there. So There's a lot of calls. I mean, they were getting a few 6 agains early. I know we got majority of the penalties probably, but there was a few there that they didn't give to us, and it kind of stalled us a little bit, but gave them that early possession. I think the possessions flashed up on the screen early in the game, and they had a dominating possession. So yeah, like you said, you make your own luck, but our guys, as equally as challenging as both teams were, our guys still wanted that little bit more, and just showed why we are the Golden Point Kings in the NRL. Nobody has a better record than us in Golden Point, and we just did that again, guys. We did that again. Right. Unbelievable execution.
Shoey's asking if we reckon Critter will be charged. Look, I don't think he should be. Less than a metre off the ground. It wasn't as bad as Reece Walsh's hit during the semi-final series. No case to answer. Play on. Matthew Dwyer, welcome to you, brother. Scott Wilkinson, welcome to you. Up the doggies. Sayed Jamal. Hey, boys, great win. Very hard, but I think would have personally put it down to a new place, different field. Elevation, would love to hear your thoughts. Yep, we'll definitely talk about all that, my brother. Timmy said Preston, anytime try scorer. well, as our number one try scorer, he's definitely the one to go. I know D put out some stats on where to focus. He said, the basically the way it turned out, and he got up one of his multis that he did. Simon Halubi, it was so intense today, I was so surprised. G'day, James. Yeah, the boys, it was scrappy, but got the job done. Up the Dogs, got the scoreline wrong, but I got both try scorers right. So well done to you, James. If Cherry scores, Mick, I collect 5. Oh, no. And I tell you what, Tracy just had to give him the ball, mate. Instead, he threw up. It was a beautiful pass out to Montoya. Don't get me wrong, but that's what happens. We stripped him for numbers. We had and that's what it comes down to. Their winger made the right call. Sometimes they turn in and then we go down the edge. I think if that game's played on a normal size field, I think we win by more. That's just my opinion. Let's keep going. Bad luck for Shoei. Timmy says, I was saying that it should have been a draw before Golden Point. The ref had a poor game. What are your thoughts? It's not a perfect ref points, much like the way both sides played. It's one of those things. And I think, it's still not as blatant an error as the Jamie Soward thing going back to 2010. So we still haven't been paid back for that yet. Yep. Sides will improve on it. And it just goes to show all this crap about trials. And, Newcastle had the hard prep. Cowboys looked like world beaters. Marnie was going to change everything and he was dominant. I felt Marnie did it. I felt his passing was really good today for the Cowboys. But they weren't as hardened and as ready to go as the Knights. As simple as that. And the Knights outplayed them over 80 minutes. Joby says, good win. I don't think Critters. That's a really good question. I've forgotten your name already. Frederick. That's your name. Frederick. Frederick actually watched the game with me today at my house. So there you go. He's not a big fan of Critter either. So boo. Wasn't quite 50-0, Paulie. No. They did very well, the Dragons. So I wouldn't say 20-point better, but I would have been happy. Obviously, people would have been happier with a couple of extra tries, and I thought we were actually building to that. We made numerous small line breaks. That's right. Keeping Vegas clean. Dragons in the bin. That's it.
5-1 in the low breaks.
How was that?
Line breaks 5-1.
Yep. Salmon was g'day at Robbie 04. I thought Salmon was outstanding. He was. He made some really crunch. He had some crunch moments with a great tackle that knocked the ball free from Moses Sully. He's the one obviously there chasing down the drop kicks, putting the pressure on one out. He was backing up Connor Tracy. That's what I mean. He took it to the line, got hit in the back, created space. We never looked real. They had to execute 2 excellent tries, in my opinion, to break us. They did their homework. They did everything they could. They got repeat sets. They executed. And that's how it goes. Like, that's what you got to do against good sides, and they did it. But I felt the Dogs. I keep saying it. I don't expect that attack to evolve immediately. It's going to take time, and we'll keep saying that. Young halves, I felt they both did a good job. I thought Galvin was outstanding today. Only probably the one issue was he had that bad pass early, but Matty Johns thought that was all right. And then you had going on the left edge, and then we had him, after he set that try up for Preston by sucking in both defenders with his eye work and the line that he ran. Targeting that defender was brilliant. suck Flanagan right in. But then the next time Flanagan was hitting Galvin, that was the end of Flanagan was going to hit his target, Preston. Even if he goes out the back, nothing happens. They had it covered, the Dragons, but maybe that's a time where he steps inside.
Michael, you got to remember, a lot of people will talk about clunky and all these sorts of things, but that was the first time that our team has played in that configuration. So even Carras switching over as well wasn't always something that people were aware of. So he switched over to go back to Critter's side, where normally Montoya's on the left as well. So there were so many things that changed. You know, they switched over everything. So and that was the first time that Montoya and Carras played, you know, from a non-training perspective. So it was completely understandable for them to have sort of all those challenges, because it's you're playing on a completely different side to what you're normally doing. It's not gonna roll off the tongue straight away. It's not gonna straight away be automatic. And for me, the biggest thing is the 2 points. In a couple of weeks, nobody will care how we got those 2 points. We'll be looking and going, thank God we did get those 2 points. So people have to sit there and remember that you don't win a premiership in March or February. It happens at the back end of the year. All you have to do is build until there and prime yourselves for the back end of the season. And I think today was absolutely amazing. You know, the Dragons were desperate. We were equally desperate. And yes, people think it could have been a draw, but we were still more hungry to get the win. And that supersedes everything else for me. That was just outstanding.
Yeah. Look, there was only a couple of times where I felt the Bulldogs, quite early in the match, actually. There was a Max King run where he got the ball off a standing start pretty early. I was like, uh-oh. But they rectified that pretty quickly, I felt. We absolutely made way more ground than they did. We did, you know, they were getting the depth on their kicks, but we played some footy to get out. It's obvious that's about the fourth time that we've had a player coming on side who's then got involved off a Carras offload. Which gave them 2 points and tied the game up. In a way, I think it made them play a bit more conservative to look for field goals, and then I think that's where I think they could have pulled the trigger on one more play and potentially put us under a lot more pressure, but instead we're trying to win it. But both teams are out on their feet. I felt the Dragons' fitness right up there, that they went a long way. And those Couchman brothers, with that mobility that they possess and their leg speed, that's coming from the Ciraldo playbook. And they've developed those kids. They're top quality. And like the Dragons are going to be, if that youth can continue to develop, they bring Kaloa Matangi in. As another sort of workhorse in the middle with a bit of mongrel and a bit of, and he plays hard. They're going to be very tough to beat over numerous years, especially once they develop those halves of theirs, which they've got quite a few good ones coming through. So Dragons fans should, their season's well and truly alive. And look, I'm not saying, that we're going to be finishing top 2 or anything off that performance. But for me, that's a typical Ciraldo system performance. We watched Penrith for years in that 4-peat, not blow teams away for a very, very long time, and just build into their season off defence. And that's exactly what we've been doing as well. But Gas, I'm going to report to you now, my friend.
Yep.
Who is
yes, mate.
Your man? Who was your man of the match and why, buddy?
My man of the match was Matty Burton. I thought he controlled the game, but I also think his running game and what he was doing was outstanding. And just to confirm what I was thinking, I had a quick look at the stats earlier, and 48% of his run meters were post-contact. 48% of his run meters were post-contact, which is outstanding. So it's a huge number when you think about your run meters. So his efforts for me, I mean, even that little trick play with the little grubber, he was asking questions the whole day. His distribution to the back line, everything he was doing for me was spot on. He got us out of trouble a lot of times. For me, I thought overall, as a whole, I know that Critter got the final kick and everything, and that was great. But for me, Birdo was if you watch the game again and you think about what I'm saying, and you have a look at what his efforts areas are and what he did, you'll probably see. And I'm sure all of us are going to be watching the game again. There was too much emotion for all of us to absorb that game in one hit. But for me, the more I saw what he was doing, the more I realised why he's such an integral part of our team. And he really controlled that game for us from that perspective. Nailed a few of those torpedo bombs. But as I mentioned last night, they were easily gobbled up because there's no real demons in those conditions for them. So yeah. But again, for me, I thought for myself, there was a lot of great players there as well. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I thought Birdo, took my man of the match. For me.
Yeah, I'm not going to call him my man of the match just yet, but he's definitely taken home Dally M points, in my opinion. For me, it was he had two really decisive runs from dummy half. And this was something that he did he's so underrated, Matty Burton. What he did in that Melbourne Storm semi-final, when he took that run from dummy half on that left edge, and after we just defended multiple sets on our try line when we were in front and got our set from a bad one into a good one, and kick out followed him through, which is what you get, for Sexton to kick the ball out on the full. That destroyed our season, that one mistake by a halfback there. Go Toby, love Toby. He'll probably feel exactly. He'd be like, yeah, I fucked that, and I put us under pressure. We weren't able to defend the mistake. But Matty Burton, same again today. There's a set there where they've got us under the pump. He takes a run from dummy half. They don't expect it. He makes about 15 metres, another 6 or 7 post contact, and gets our set off to a brilliant start on to play 3. And we end up going deep. And then not long after that, we get them in some issues, and we get our game on and we score. There was also another decisive run that he did later. And then he just started asking questions. And I think, we got around them numerous times, but they really rallied well. Paulie got some comments there that Burton hasn't been deep enough. Maybe on some plays we go a bit flat, but I felt sometimes that actually we were too deep in the way we were for that field. I feel the flat running, the flatter game is probably more suited to get people running onto it through gaps and an offloading game. And that's what the Dragons did. They did that twice through Jaden Sewer with that offload as he's catching it. They didn't get it the first time, but Damien Cook's kick, he looked straight at Emre Gula, who knew this was the play they've been working on all pre-season based on how they knew the Dogs would defend, and they scored an amazing try to Emre Gula, of all people, who I felt had a really good game. His first run for the Dragons last year, Daniel Saluka feeder knocked him senseless with a great, didn't legally, I mean. I love the work of Jamin Salmon today. As I said, I thought Kurt Mann was quite good. Satili Tupanua worked his ass off. I felt when he made that error that I felt he should have been taken off the field right then. That's just me. Ciraldo let him. He was really breathing hard. That's why the error happened, right? And he knew it. And Satili's been known for doing that for a long time, like usually playing 80 minutes on an edge or coming off the bench. When he starts to tire, he puts in so much effort, but he's susceptible to an error. And we got one today, and it put us under pressure, and they ended up scoring in the corner not long after that. Max King comes back on for that final 20. He worked his ass off. I was a bit worried into extra time off that first hit up. He sort of got dominated a bit. But he was busted lost a lot of blood in that game, as did Bailey Hayward, who was, I felt Hayward, people are like he needs to run the ball. No, he doesn't. He needs to just do his job, and he did it. Did a great job. Kurt Mann left some. Go back and watch it again and watch some of the work he did second man in, just belting people and making them wish that they didn't run the ball at him. He hurt himself trying to do it as well. I'm impressed with a lot of players out there today. I thought Montoya was good as that one.
Just on Hayward. Just on Hayward. I mean, you know, everyone was talking about, you know, how big the off-season was. But to go out in the first game and play 90 minutes as a hooker, make 55 tackles, and to execute that final play, if that pass he threw to Critter was anything but perfect, he probably doesn't get the kick. I mean, that had to be spot on, exactly in his hands at the right place for him to get that goal, because otherwise, you know, under that pressure, it gets charged down, etc. Any slight fumble. So to execute that play after making 55 tackles and playing 90 minutes, it was outstanding effort from Bailey Hayward. And his defense was amazing as well. Put his body on the line. Obviously didn't, you know, a couple of times, you know, made the first contact and got brushed off a bit, but there was someone ready there to jump on the next, on that player. But he was outstanding for a first game up. So I think today, if people have a look at his game in detail, he would have shut a lot of people up that were sitting there going, oh, you know, why did it go of Marnie? Why? Well, today he showed you why, and he's only going to get better. And he was getting confidence. He was passing off the ground. And the more the game went, the more confident he was, the more he was, you know, executing what he had to do. So it was a great effort from Bailey Hayward today. You know, playing an 90-minute, you know, position there like that. That was fantastic.
I'm going to run through some stats for the team and then for the players that I'll pick out in a moment. Big call that by Paulie saying that Critter and Burton are our best players, hands down. That's the truth. They are, and I felt Galvin was a class act today as well. He's 20 years old. He's better than Kyle Flanagan. He's better than all those players, and he showed why. And look, he's only going to get better and better and better. We're in a very fortunate position, you know, and Fox, they continue to tell bullshit lies in their perception of what they recall. You know, they were going on all week about Burton and Galvin failed in the final series and stuff. They actually never played together in the run home hardly at all. Burton had to play center because of injuries that continued to happen throughout that. So, but anyway, Harry's made a comment which I'll actually give a little bit of a different spin on. Leo Thompson's going to be for our squad. I thought Dragons won the forwards battle. They had us up at the middle, which was frustrating to watch. I think there was some periods where their leg speed got behind us, which is exactly what you want to do. But it comes down to the fact that the Drag, we restricted their meters over the game much better than they restricted ours. And the reason for that is because we're really good at what we do in that area. I felt the Dragons gave us closer because of their long kicking game. That's what you're going to see from Nathan Cleary and Mitchell Moses and some of these more accomplished halves that can get the ball deep when they, like, you know, hold their own in the middle or slightly beat us in the middle through when they have a good set coming off their own line and that sort of thing. And they kept alluding to it. Cooper Cronk kept alluding to it, how they, you know, a few of them did, how they would get to the halfway and then they just kick, or they get to the 40 and they would kick. But the length of their kicks meant that it gave their team energy. Last year, we would have actually beaten St. George by about 30 points last year. In my opinion, the way that game was played, they tried to grind with us, but because they were able to kick with such depth that I didn't expect, that meant that our boys had to travel further back, which really attacked their fitness. It helped their forwards stay in the game longer, and that's what I mean. That's the back and forth battle you got to play. It's so important when you've got halves that can kick the footy a long way. And I think we'll look at the stats now because they smashed us in the kicking battle. They absolutely smashed us in that kicking battle.
I think they would have got more. They would have got more kicking meters, Michael. But I'll tell you what, that you spoke about Satilli when he made that error. If you look at that point in time, up until he made that error, we controlled the game. We had the grind under control. We didn't even let them in our half. We didn't let them in our half. We would have happily just defended that lead and kept going all the way. That error, on the back of that error, obviously Kiko went for the charge down, which fair enough to him because normally he'll get that charge down and recover and make some good yardage. It obviously went away. They got the set again, and then Kiraz came in. It was what it was. It was a bit clunky in defence there, and they got the try in the corner. But that got them back in the game. Up until that point, we could have gone the whole game and still kept just playing that grind. We were doing our bits. Tracy was ultra safe at the back. Him and the wingers were doing their job. It was just typical Bulldog football. They knew they didn't have their best game. We said that last night. If we don't play our best game, we're going to have a tough game on our hands. We can still win, but if we play our best game, if we play to our potential, we'll flog them. But we didn't play our best game, which is amazing, but they're the best 2 points you get. When you don't have your best game and you still find a way to get the 2 points, that's the best way to play the game because it doesn't matter. No one looks, no one cares that like I said, in 3 weeks' time, when you look back at it, after we beat the Raiders, people will go, wow, we're on 6 points. No one will care how we won. They'll just be thinking about how many points we've got.
Exactly. That's probably the point I actually want to make, though, is that when I was watching through regular season, early season games, and you had good halves like Mitchell Moses and Nathan Cleary, right, playing against each other, a lot of those games were going down to the wire, just a grind-a-thon, set for set. Who could kick the ball the longest? Power actually won a few of those games by 1 point or 2 points, really close efforts, just with both teams doing what they do and then getting their long kick on, and it was then the first team to crack would lose. And then it was going down to field goals and all that sort of shit. And that's what we saw there because I didn't expect St. George to have that kicking ability and actually played their game around that. Like they had a halfback. They knew they had someone who could kick deep, which they haven't had for a long time. I thought Flanagan's adjusted his style a bit to get a quicker release away to kick the ball. They muffled a couple of kicks due to our efforts. And we punished them, not always on the scoreboard, but punished them for when they sort of capitulated with a bad kick. We were in control of everything we did. It was like watching the Canterbury Parramatta game last year where Sexton kicked for 1,000 metres. Burton didn't actually play, but because he was just able to kick from the halfway line, and we did it for about 18, 19 sets, and no team dropped the ball. And then we went away with it and got a couple of tries late to win the game, but I think it was 16-8 in the end. But we weren't even trying to throw much at them in that game. In this game, though, I felt we had some really nice moments, some good line breaks. When we put the foot down, the boys responded. I think there's a lot to like out of the fact that there was a bit of clunkiness there. Not all the passes went to where they were supposed to. Like even Stephen Crichton early on has a little bit of a brain fluff like he used to when he was younger. Doesn't get into dummy half after that pass went to ground. But as far as looking at our halves, the lines they ran, taking it to the line, the responsibility that they took in the game, the way our back three worked, Connor Tracy had a really good professional game. He just makes the wrong pass and the things change completely. He makes a pass to Bronson Cherry. Showy 68 wins $5,000 and we're all bloody cheering to the bank, you know what I mean? But I'll go through the stats now. We had an extra, almost an extra 3 minutes with the ball. We only completed at 78%, which will not impress the coach. Both teams getting through 36 sets. 36 completions. We had an extra 4 sets with the footy. We took an extra 20 runs, but had an extra 400 or 500 meters. I can't wait to break it down for the middlemen in that. Post contact, an extra 200. So it was probably evenly shared there on average. 5 line breaks to 1. Tackle breaks pretty much even. We normally lose that. Average set distance, an extra 8 meters per set. So the perception is that the Dragons forwards they weren't better because they were bigger. They actually had a couple of their the Couchman brothers aren't small, by the way, but they're not huge and they're not enforcers. But their leg speed and their footy ability and their brain and following the process that they've been set up, they got behind our ruck a couple of times. And I thought Hame Saleh had a really good game. That's the best game I've seen him play in a long time. Just all his moments were classy from what I could see. Average play the ball, a lot faster than I expected. We had 17 offloads, intent in that match, pure intent. A lot more passing, a lot more balls, a lot more dummies, 5 less kicks, and about 340 less kicking meters. It's been a long time since I've seen a team kick longer than the Dogs, which probably suggests that we were making yards. And when you're making yards and you're dominating your opposition team by 8 meters over a match on an average per set, that's what that means is that you're probably closer to the opposition line. You're not doing as many long kicks to get you out of trouble. Now, last year, as I said, Dragons, we're catching the ball on the 30 and getting it back to near the halfway based on the kicking game last year. You know, they're not getting it down on the 10 meters, and our forwards having to run back all the way back. Obviously, we got a lot of kick return meters and stuff, which was good, but it just meant we had to do more in order to get through our sets than normal. And that's what we have to suffer. And I think that's a great thing because good teams are going to kick it long to us. They're going to put us under pressure. I felt the Dragons actually had some nice bombs where our guys did real well. Montoya caught a good one under heaps of pressure. Same with Tracy a couple of times. They let a couple bounce that they didn't defuse and they bounced, but it was all under control. So overall, very, very happy. Missed tackles, only 33, which is good for us when we're in a game like that, and way less ineffective. So 10 errors was the bad thing. We got the penalty count by an extra, which was great, which is why St. George fans are so frigging salty. And, you know, rucking, I thought the 6 agains, I thought they were going to be a lot worse for both sides actually today. And I was quite impressed that it didn't dominate proceedings there. So let's get into the player stats. Hayward 55. Damien Cook, I said he was their weakling. I think that's one of the best games I've seen Damien Cook play in a long time. And he's obviously had a massive preseason. And if he can keep doing that for his side and not burn out, they're going to go a long way. Jacob Carraz, 280 meters, kick out 2 line breaks. And Damien Cook, 91 points there. So let's go through our statistics.
69 tackles for Damien Cook.
Amazing effort by Damien Cook. And he's been to Vegas before, remember, and he's actually had 2 losses now. He's probably had more losses in Vegas than anyone.
That's right.
Tracy, Carraz, and Montoya, 240, 280, 220. It shows that they were having to kick the ball long, and our boys were catching the footy and getting some return happening. But I felt the kicking game was much better than I anticipated. Stephen Crichton, 176 meters is the biggest return we've had from Critter since the Raiders game. And that wasn't through line breaks. That was through hard yakka. Him and Cherry shared the effort really well. Burton and Galvin, 200, nearly 300 between them. Maxi King, 117. Sam Hughes did his job for the first 20. Then they really gave Satilli a long stretch. Kick out, 188 meters, couple of line breaks, as we said. Preston, his average of every week. Salmon, 7 runs for 73, all important, usually off the 4th tackle into the 5th. Kurt Mann, some nice runs. Tilly off the back fence. And Harry Hayes had some good stuff happen as well. Curran didn't actually get a run. He played in the – I was actually he came on, yeah, but he
came on
and made 11 tackles.
Extra time.
Which would have been the most amount of tackles in the in the
no hit ups. You mean
the goal point, but no hit ups. I actually was a bit disappointed in that that he didn't get in there and get a run. As in, like, I felt he should have been taking a hit up out of our yard there, but it didn't matter in the end. Missed tackles. So we had Bailey Hayward missed 6, 55. Galvin had to make 35 tackles. That's what I mean. They rented our right edge all day. You see Montoya and Cherry, 25 tackles, 7 tackles, versus Carraz and Critter only 14 between them. And Burton only 10. You know, they stayed away from kick out. He only had to make 17 tackles. They attacked our right edge. They didn't go to our left edge at all. And nearly paid the price for it. Look, they fucking scored. They didn't actually get any nothing happened for them on the right edge. They attacked it the whole time, and they actually got their 2 tries from two perfectly executed left edge plays. Their right edge plays, our left edge defense. I get confused, guys. Kicking meters, 420 for Birdo, Galvin 173, which is typical. And Critter, that's what I mean. Critter's just that player. He takes the intercept. He kicks the field goal for Samoa in the World Cup. Kicks the field goal for us today to get us the 2 points. Job done. Crisis averted. And we'll shut up the doubters for another week. In my opinion, Jacob Preston, it was just another high-class game, another consistent game. Hard to give a man of the match for me. I thought Harry Hayes was strong. I was happy with a lot of the players. I felt Kickout had a really good game. Carraz will be better for the run. Same with Montoya. Lots of good stuff. But I'm probably going to give my man of the match performance to Connor Tracy. I just thought he was absolutely consistent yet again and earned some daily end points in my opinion. Caught every ball, throws that one hospital pass, but makes that break. Good effort by Connor. Hard to give a player of the match to when the team does so many things across the board, so many players doing a good job. And obviously Critter just wins the moment when we need it. Obviously, you can see the importance of that rule where they repack the scrum. And if they're offside a second time, they get sin binned, right? That split second of having to hold, we go the same direction, same player gets the ball, one-on-one with Valentine Holmes, Carraz in the corner. You can probably just give Critter the man of the match if you want, because the two biggest plays of the day came down to him at the end of it. You know what I mean? I can't see your chats at the moment, so I will get stuck into that in a moment. If you want to look at the player stats for the Dragons, let me know. The Dargans. Gas, do you want to have a chat while I have a look through the chats?
Yeah, mate, no worries. There was so many good moments in that game overall for us to obviously be impressed with. But at the end of the day, for me, like the team effort the will to win. I mean, these games, like you basically try to look for positives, right? That's the whole idea for us. We don't look for the negatives, but to grind out a win, when you've had a big build up. I mean, the expectation from the Bulldogs is obviously, they've got all trying to, and there's a lot of pressure on them to get the result. It's still, to give you an example of how hard it is, have a look at the first game of the night. I don't know if anybody watched the first game. So Hull had won all of their trophies. They were on fire. They beat Brisbane last week, and they came out and they got absolutely smashed because the expectation was just so strong on them. So it's not always, it's not always easy to deliver when the expectation is there as well. And I think the Bulldogs did an amazing job to deliver on that as well. So yeah, so I mean, across the park, we had so many top contributors, as Michael was saying. But overall, for me, like the team effort and some of the things were a bit surprising. Like, I mean, I think we did a few things with our interchange that we kept a few players on there a lot longer. I don't think Sam Hughes came back for a second stint. I don't remember seeing him coming back on for a second stint. He was only out there for the first one. And yeah, there was, Satilli stayed on like for 40 minutes. When he came on after 20, and Harry, he stayed on there pretty much
56 minutes
to the
Satilli
end.
played.
Hang on, mate.
You're right, brother. Lots of good comments. Harry says Satilli copped the building today. Yeah, look, that's what you get, 101 kilogram prop. He's got no fear, and he's not a big body. He used to play centre, Satilli. He's built like Crichton, but yeah. Harry says, I love Bert, but that switch needs to be turned on more than off. He has an on and off button too regularly. If you can have that switch on all times, be one of the best. Look, I just think that it's Burton's always one that needs to get into a preparation. Just that he's just one of those ones who's always better second up, always. I felt Kicks was ready to go this year for the first time, ready to go from round one, in my opinion, with no issues. He was outstanding today as well. But it's good to have high expectations of our players. But I felt Berto did his job. Had some really good runs and was very important to our team today. Couple of passes weren't. I felt, watching Berto and Galvin combine in that trial against the Knights, passing was beautiful in some of those plays. I felt it. There's a couple of times where it just wasn't as crisp. Joe says, credit to Galvin, play well. Line took on the Lions, nearly split them. And that's it. And because he's peppering things, he had a beautiful pass to Harry Hayes and nearly scored. That was a great move. Gus has come back, has he? He's drifting in and out, Gus, so we'll see how he goes. Damo says, welcome to you, Damo. Felt like each team had an extra defender on the field, your dimensions of the field. Ec 4607, we need a halfback holding our attack back. We've got a halfback, mate. It's called Lachlan Galvin. He's the best halfback in the club at the moment. And Woods, don't worry about Mitch Woods. He'll get developed. Sean O'Sullivan's there to help out when need be. But Galvin's going to develop over a fair bit of time. And I felt he did a good job. And he keeps firing shots. I actually need to have a quick look back at how many possessions he had as well. Because to me, I felt Galvin got us to the areas of the field we wanted to get to. And that's what a halfback's supposed to do. He's talking, he's communicating out there. Where are their receipts?
And while you're looking for that, Michael, I mean, if you look at the way Galvin played, I think we spoke about it in the last few nights. He's a 20-year-old kid who's basically developing into the player we want him to become. So if you go out there and you watch a game like this on a smaller field and you expect the player to dominate, I don't know what you're looking for, EK. I'm sorry, mate. but I thought he was outstanding today. I mean, he was the only guy that put someone in through a clean break to set up that try in the game, and everything he did was extra effort all the time, and he made 35 tackles for a halfback as well. So for me, he did
91 possessions with the ball. Burton had 54. Obviously, Hayward from dummy half, 135. That's usually what it's like. Matty Burton gets to use his running game more because he's playing the 5'8" role in a more traditional sense. Had some really important runs for us. He's doing kicks as well, kicking it to where we want it, so we can control the game. They didn't split. How many times did they split us? None.
Once.
When they scored, that's it.
The try.
In the corner.
That's it. They
didn't split us in general field. Why? The only person who created that was Galvin onto Preston, and it's his sleight of hand. The only thing Lachlan Galvin could be doing more of is some of his natural stuff, which is more offloads. Like there's a couple of times I thought he could have offloaded when he didn't, but he played for the team. He played safe. Burton 4 dummies, Galvin 3. They got the ball. They got the ball out early. It's not perfect by no means. Couple of decisive. Look, Burton 2.93 second play the balls. Galvin 3.23. Like they're halves, and when they are running, they're getting away the next play really quickly. I felt the discipline of all sides to play the ball of both sides was great. And they did a good job. So we need another big bopper up front, more than a halfback. Look, we've been saying it for years, but Harry, and no disrespect, brother, like I get it. That's why we bought Leo Thompson, and we're developing our big boppers. We're not buying another big bopper. We're not buying them. There's no point. We will not get to where we need to get to as a club if we go out there and buy. We bought a Leo Thompson at 25, who's that next rung down, but has the right attitude and the game to go to that next level with a team like the Bulldogs. They know what I saw from Leo Thompson against the Bulldogs last year when we beat the Knights 20-0, and they lost Saifidi as he was running out onto the fucking field. He injured himself. Thompson played 70 minutes and tackled his fucking ass off. Absolute dynamic effort in defence. That Knights team should have been, I know they didn't score. They never looked like scoring, but their effort was gritty as hell. And we just kept grinding, kept torturing them the whole game, right? Leo, when he gets in, Sam Hughes will play some more minutes. King will be better for the run. Obviously, I thought King had, 90% of his game was really good, and there was a couple of moments where he looked to be really sucking in the big ones, especially in that first 20. He was looking, he did some good stuff, but it was starting to get to him a bit. And Hughes, he had to deal with that intensity. They sort of had a fair bit of possession early as well, and we wrestled it back and then got into our groove. And these kids we're developing underneath, we're developing Underhill to be that genuine prop. We're developing AJ Jones. We've got Fainu to come in yet, right? Fainu Latu, right? We got some boys that they've got engines, they're aggressive, and they're competitive as fuck. And that's what you need. So a big bopper, we've got Daniel Saluka Fafita. They don't get much bigger than him. When he gets his back ready, he's going to help. Hughes is not small. Kingy's not small. Yes, I agree that against the best sides, you need that edge, and we currently aren't there yet. But we're developing that, and we're going to continue to develop that. And, a couple of years ago, that side doesn't win that game, right? Simple as that. We don't beat the Dragons in that game a couple of years ago because our boys wouldn't have been resilient enough. Now they are. I felt that they A lot can happen in a day in rugby league, let alone 18 days. But it won't be long before Leo Thompson's making his debut for us. We've got some wins on the board. The season's going pretty well, and I can see that all ahead of us. Some good sides this year. South Sydney are going to be a fucking tough team come Good Friday. I'm really looking forward to that. That's my most anticipated game. But obviously this next game against Canberra will probably be the most anticipated after our first round one game, because 18 days into that or 19 days into that on a Thursday night in Canberra, it's not that cold. They don't really have that same advantage they normally have. It suits, but the nighttime sort of suits the teams with the big forward packs and that as well. So have to see what the weather brings us as well in that. But I'm sure by then our boys are going to be ready to rock and roll and get their season restarted again against the minor premiers of 2026. Sayed says, the only thing I hate about the season starting is all our fans that bash the team instead of being patient. I get every different point of view, but we really need to voice them respectfully. That's right, mate. And look, even you yourself last year had some moments, buddy. Like, so I get it. But you are very respectful. I will give it that. And you just give your voice, and you all are. And that's the point. If you're on this channel, I'm not taking your money. I don't want you coming back. I'm not taking advertising revenue and all that sort of stuff, like $3 an episode or whatever it is, from people that are going to be disrespectful and treat our players, treat each other, and treat our club like it's a fucking toy that they own and or it's some sort of game that they play. They're humans. They had the best week of their lives, and they were the main show there. It was all about the Bulldogs this week. We were, if the Bulldogs aren't there for Las Vegas this week, it's not the biggest Las Vegas ever. Simple as that. It's because you saw the Bulldogs fans walking across that bridge. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. I was so fucking proud to see all that. And we knew we were going to do it. We got the best fans in the league, win, lose, or draw. And, proud of every one of them. And some of those guys are fucking putrid with their opinions when we lose. But it doesn't matter. Family club. They put their money where their mouth is. Any fan that went over to Las Vegas, deserve luck for their team, because it shows great commitment. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of them all. And Stephen Crichton at the end, beautiful pass from Hayward. Good setup plays, bit of luck with the call, and Critter does the rest. He's the magic man. He's the moment man. And Harry, people go and follow Bulldogs commentary on Instagram. Watch Harry's passionate, just beautiful little focus on Critter and on just how good he is, and why he's the best. I love it. I've watched it numerous times, actually. I said I'm a fan, Harry. I'm a real fan. Doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, but I'm a fan. Damien Stafford, g'day to you, bro. Still think he needs to run more to give us an extra dimension attack. Yeah, look, he's not Damien Cook. He's not as fast. And while we had some fast play the balls, I still felt that the defensive lines of both teams were pretty solid. Yeah, of course there would have been a couple of opportunities, but, Cameron Smith barely ran the fucking ball. He's the greatest hooker of all time. One of the greatest players of all time. Will be immortalised. As much as I hate him for being a Queenslander, he's the GOAT. And Bailey Hayward, in my opinion, will be our Bulldogs version of that. And that doesn't have to be a New South Wales rep. Doesn't have to play for Australia. Just has to get the job done for the Dogs. He can be.
Damien, we spoke about this. I think it was last night. I think we spoke about it last night with Bailey Hayward. We said that it's going to take him a while, into the season before he starts to feel comfortable doing all that defense and getting down and, picking up that ball from dummy half all the time before he can start developing his running game. Exactly. I don't know why people expect him to do that in the first game. He played 90 minutes, made 55 tackles, executed the final pass with precision. That was exactly what we needed from him. The way that our game plan is at the moment, we don't need him to run. So he will bring that into his game as he starts getting more fitness and confidence to play those 80-minute games and then be able to do a bit more. That's when he'll come into his own. We know he can run. We know he's got that sleight of hand, and that's going to happen. But at the moment, I think if we keep looking for all these little extra things at the moment, I think we're just fishing for nothing really at the moment.
Let's look at the halves of the Dragons, shall we? They had 9 runs between them for a combined total of 51 meters. So, obviously you get against a better side. Mitch and Cleary are going to run 100 meters each. And then their number 6s are going to, Talangi's going to run 100. But we just terrorize those players. And they don't contribute in that way. Our halves run the football, and it's what our coach wants them to do. So EK says fans will start getting disgruntled if we see no improvement in attack this year and another finals physio. I could, in all respect, I couldn't give a shit. And I don't mind your comment. I know what our fans do. I know how the media plays on it too. And I sat there and watched Braith the last 3 days. I watched Dan Ganane, even at the end of it, try and sit there and shape this narrative so they can keep this story to go on. I know they don't have nothing to talk about in the lead-in, but they are dead set focused. And this is what I say. I know Braith Anasta wants his young guy, the really talented Alex Conti. I know he doesn't want Galvin to fail so Alex can get a chance. That's not how it works. He knows that if he wants to create great footballers and great men, that they have to be sharpened against the best iron in the comp. He's got Alex Conti at the Bulldogs because he loves the way that our club is developing halfbacks under Gus. And if you want to see the next Nathan Cleary, and Nathan Cleary's on 1.2 million, Jerome Luai's on 1.2 million. If Alex Conti's going to make $1.2 million, he's got to be in a good academy to do that. And around him, he's got some really good players. And I'm watching some of these other halves coming through as well that are just giving me chills watching them. Understandably, the teams might not win that they're in, but that's not what it's about. It's about how they develop them. Winning the trophies is good to get culture going and getting people on board and whatever else. And then you just get that side, which is dominant as a team. But for the Bulldogs, we're bringing players together from a lot of areas. And it's about getting that junior development going for the individuals. There's players who'll just, dive over from dummy half, for example, to score a try. But the actual call from the halves and whatever else was to give us the ball, and they've ignored it because they just dominated a player in front of them. But see, when they get to NRL, that player won't have that dominance. So it's about development the whole way through. It's not always about winning every game and winning every moment. It's about learning the game from the point of view of being an NRL footballer. And that's why Braith has a player like Alex Conti in our system. So in my dead set heart, I don't believe he wants Galvin to fail so Conti can do well. But my point is that if the media that he works for that's so focused on Galvin and Burton's combination that forgets that they didn't actually get to play together much in that season at all, right? That they didn't get to work together too often, just forgets that and glazes over it and just says, yeah, those two failed in the finals. They never played in halves together in the finals, right? So they can make up these bullshit narratives that the whole fan base agrees with. And then when we lose or don't win well enough, people say, oh, yeah, they're not fucking good enough or they didn't do enough. He wasn't straight enough in attack. for example, 20-year-old playing half, right? Nathan Cleary, as we've pointed out many times, was the 6 coming through Ciraldo's system, and Luai was the 7. So get that into you, right? I know who you'd rather have as 7 than Luai can play 7, no problem, but Cleary's a better 7 than Luai. Gus might think they're closer than many people, but that's just history will tell you that. Galvin may not end up as our best 7 in our club, but right now he is. It's up to Alex Conti and Mitchell Woods and young players coming through, Ezekiel and, and all these kids, Tyler Munn and Humphreys and Joseph Teupa, who really looks good to me. I'm so excited about him. All these players, it's up to those kids to get through our system, to ascend and prove that they can handle pressure. And I'll tell you one thing now, the reason Gus Gould said that Galvin's one of the best teenagers he's ever seen is because of the way that kid's handling pressure in the NRL at such a young age in such a dominant position. Freddie wasn't playing 6 at that fucking age. He wasn't playing 6 as a 20-year-old. He come in as a centre as a 17. Laurie Daly come in as a centre. Okay? He didn't come through the halves. And it makes me fucking fired up how short people's memories are when it comes to this shit. And then to have Braith, who was a dominant 6 as a 20-year-old, who probably didn't reach his potential, in my opinion. One of the best. I love Braith and Esther, right? He can say more bad shit about stuff, and I'll still love him, right? For my memories from him. And he gave us hope when we were dipping a little bit. Just slightly dipping, right? Still a good period, but I was a bit worried. Braith comes to the line, finished 2nd in 2001, 17 in a row before the bad thing happened, right? I get fucking fired up because I'm sick of people framing this narrative based on media talk to pay for advertisers to sponsor the game. They're all doing their job, no problem, but the fans need to sit there and put it into perspective. That kid's been put under the fucking hammer ever since he come to us Dogs. And instead of being treated like someone that we're so grateful to have, he's been treated like someone we shouldn't have bothered with. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think he's a really good kid and he tries his best. Same with Bailey Hayward. Copped way too much shit. We win that game. I'm fucking wrapped. I'm happy as fuck. 1 point. I was watching Elmo's. He had a really good interview with from the Kennel podcast. He had a really good interview with Terry today. Terry spoke a fair bit. I loved it. And he said, "Oh, so what's going to happen? What do you want to happen today?" And Terry says, "I want us to win by 1 point. That's it. 1 point, 2 points. Don't give a fuck. We just got to win. It's all that matters." He understands. He understands the game. He wasn't a 7. He played 7 if we needed him to. Right? Great player. Best bloke in the planet. And we went out there. We won it by a point. Could have been a draw. 5 seconds to go. Critter. Bang. Well done. We lack a bit of pace. Okay. Some teams are faster, yes. There's faster teams. Are we the slowest team? Are we the fastest? We're not the fastest. We're not the slowest. And we're faster in some areas where teams are much slower. So, yeah, maybe we don't have some players that it shut the gate. But that's actually the first time Galvin's been in space and been caught, which was by Kyle Flanagan, by the way.
He didn't have much.
Right?
But he only had a meet up, not space at all. I wouldn't call that a break. Like, he only literally got the ball and he had to slow down to take it too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, every other time he's been given an opportunity in the open, he's pulled away. We're not that slow.
Yeah.
Anari Tuala ran the length of the field against the Sharks. They were all there. he ran away from them. They couldn't reel him in. We're not that slow. We're just not the quickest. I think when you get used to having the Fox in your team, it sort of changes your whole mindset on speed and all that sort of stuff. Pardon the pun. What's your thoughts, mate?
Oh, mate, I agree, mate. Look, I had the similar experience this week where I spoke about Galvin the same way. Like, you know, he's a great player. You know, completely understand your frustrations. Everyone's still resenting what happened last year, and they're taking it out on their own team, which is the wrong way to go about it. But look, we don't have the Fox anymore, so you know we're missing out some speed there. He used to make us look fast when he, you know, disappeared off, you know, from those sides. But our guys, if you look at the game today, like even though we didn't sort of get the job done, you know, in the 80 minutes, we still gave ourselves the chances, multiple occasions, making breaks, kick out, etc. And we probably, you know, with a few games under our belt, we might execute some of those plays. We just didn't get the job done even Critter threw that pass. He probably didn't have to Carraz, even though I still think it went back. I don't think it was forward. But either way, there's a lot of these moments where we could have actually iced the game, you know, in regulation. And we were giving ourselves that opportunity. The guys kept coming. If you think about it, in a game that was so tight, we kept making those breaks and giving ourselves chances. In a game that was so, you know, like, and you know, like Michael said, if it was probably not a smaller field, we may have got the job done earlier and maybe by more. But we had to play what was there for both teams for us. And in that grind, we gave ourselves a lot of opportunity, which I thought was fantastic. It's just we didn't get the job done at the end, but we still got it. We still were patient enough to do it even until the last second. And that's the quality for me of a great team. You know, very connected team that just still has belief. And, you know, an outstanding Golden Point record now. Like I think easily by a couple of wins better than anyone else as a Golden Point record. Only 3 losses and 1 draw in 17, 18 games. That's outstanding for a 50-50 game of Golden Point. So yeah, you know, they've shown they can ice the big moments. Yeah, it would be nice to have some faster players, but like I said last night, the player that I still think has got the most improvement is a player with some speed, Bronson Cherry, and even if you watch him today, he's still always looking to get the pass away and not thinking about sometimes using his own backing. He'll crab a lot back inside and everything. He won't try. When he does do it and he gets it right, it's going to happen a lot more. And then it becomes dangerous for the people outside him. They'll have a lot more time. If you do lose me, I'm going to go the next 10 minutes. I might be in a bad area, just so you're aware. If you do lose me, maybe, okay? Just so you're aware, okay?
All right, mate. Joe,
So
we don't make the fight. Joe's just lots of good comments, guys, and obviously heaps.
Can you read them out so I can hear them? Can you read out the comments when you see them, please, so I can hear them? Yeah.
I will, buddy. Joe Millennium says, do you think Carraz and Max King look to offload too much, like honestly heart attack stuff? Joe, we don't make the finals if Max King doesn't do 15 offloads last year, if Jacob Carraz doesn't pretty much lead the offload count. It's when he does them. We spoke about this during the week. I know it's heart attack stuff, and they are going to have, in the search for excellence, there's going to be moments that they fail. But the team knows that they are there, that they are doing offloads, they are engaging in second phase play, and it's part of what we do to advance up the field. So without those efforts, we don't do as well. We have to do that. Our system demands that we break the game up a little bit differently. And if we're not happy where we are, we get to a point we give ourselves an opportunity to get down further, to get down deeper, and get our game on. We play an 80-minute game. Today we had to play 90 minutes to beat the Dragons, and we did it. And I'm so proud of them. But look, yes, it is heart attack stuff sometimes. Sometimes they stuff it up. We're lucky with one today that they called back. which could have quite easily been against us if they wanted to call it. We got the rub of the green. We called the right calls for the captain's challenge. We did a good job with that. It was well done. Yeah, look, I'd like to see more offloads in the line, more Robert Ralphs to Roddy Silver stuff, that sort of stuff. Azarg 87, Hayward did a lot defensively, but he needs to get more runs. Scoots our dummy. Cook had 9 runs. They were so effective. Needed a similar approach. Galvin was great. Hayward just had 1. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many he has. He will do more. He's got to get his game on for 80 minutes. He's young. They said that we couldn't replace Reid with Bailey. Reid barely ran the footy. Jake Turpin barely runs the footy. We don't have that. As I said, Cameron Smith barely ran the fucking footy. But he had the mind of a halfback and was just relentless in defence. And you'd never think of taking him off the field, ever. Bailey Hayward played 90 minutes today. He made 55 tackles. Cookie had an amazing game, but he's got that extra speed as well. He's been a hooker for 15 seasons. Former beach sprinter. That's his game, to run from dummy half. If he's not doing that, he's not playing his game. Hayward played his game, played his role from the team. We need to understand that as fans. And that's probably part of the reason Reid's not with us, because there would have been some moments under sufferance where Reid takes a run when it's sort of not on, or he goes for that hero play, which can turn a game, and no risk, no reward. Get it? It's a fine line. But too often, pushing his luck with that sort of play, too impatient, redlining. Bailey's out there trying to get through 80 minutes, guys, to get that resilience, get that toughness happening. Got his head cut open again today. Attempted 60 tackles, made 55. We had the extra possession. There you go. Cookie deserves, player for the Dragons. Absolute warhorse for them today. And I made the comment that he was their weak link potentially. Well, he turned back the clock today and really showed his value to that Dragon side. And I get it. We look at it and go, yeah, maybe he could have. I sort of look at Hayward and go, there wasn't really the opportunities where I would have felt it would have done much for us if he had a run. Better that he gets the dummy half and he gets the ball to where it's supposed to go. That's better for me. That's my point. Yeah, Harry, 100% agree, buddy. I know what you mean. The only way we get that enforcer is if Thompson goes to that level while he's with us, or we develop that player in our team. We can't stuff our salary cap up and go and buy another big bloke. Unless they want to come to us for a really good price. And it's basically like, we can get a couple of our edge back rowers at a bit cheaper, for example. But that's what's going to happen. By the time kick-out finishes, we're going to have to pay more for Jacob Preston, if you know what I mean. And then we might be able to get some more money into a bigger bopper, or hopefully we've developed one that's going to, be one that other teams want to get as well. And we're able to retain him within us. The Broncos didn't go and buy their forwards for their premiership. They developed Payne Huss. They developed Carrigan. They developed Willison. They developed Brendan Piakora. He nearly come to the Bulldogs. Trent Barrett. Dean Pay actually was trying to get Brendan Piakora at a real young age. And he's an enforcer on the edge. But I know what you mean, mate, and I totally accept it. It helps. But James Fisher-Harris is actually smaller than Harry Hayes, technically shorter and lighter. But he plays like he's an enforcer. Moses Leota, another one. But they don't dominate the stats. They dominate the tempo of the game. And I know what you mean. When we had Asatasi and we had Mason and we had O'Mealy, Amelie wasn't that big, but he got and sometimes he got absolutely smashed because he put his whole body on the line for his club and his mates. But he kept coming. And eventually where he was getting pushed back at one point, he'd be pushing them back by the end of the game. He was so determined, was Shrek. And that's going to come through in our young juniors that he's coaching. So, look, I totally get it, brother. I totally do. You want fear in the pack. I know you want it. What's going on here? Getting a bit of frozen stuff happening. Sammy thought I was good as a Bulldog for the weekend, walking through the... I saw. Paulie agrees. You can't just run from dummy. Bailey just needs to give good service and make 50 tackles a game. That's what Mitch Kenny does. He barely runs. But when he did run, put the chip in. There's the player of the day, guys. Matty Burton's little chip and fucking chase. Didn't you love that? Oh, that deserved a try. Could you imagine what would have happened if we score off that? That deserved better in the end. And I felt when Galvin did get tackled there, as he basically has no space, is what Gas said. But we then we did go the wrong way after that, and that's where the half and that will learn. They'll learn that we should have went the other way next time they get an opportunity like that. Yep, that's a fair call. But our halves run the ball, and that's the way that our system works. They're runners.
What's the comment, sorry?
The runner doesn't offer anything. Out of dummy half, he offers a lot more as a runner. If he does a scoot or if he can get away or play the ball. Atkinson is a runner of the ball, but they did. And I felt, it's a fair call, though. That's a consequence of the way the game was played and where it was played meant that they couldn't run the ball as much. But there were moments where they had us in the territory they wanted us in, and Matt Burton took runs from dummy half, which changed the fucking game. That's the point I'm making. And Burton ran the ball like only 66, 2/3 of the time that Galvin ran it. So our boys made a difference with their runs, and they weren't all just running onto beautiful passes into holes. They were running out of yardage as well, not just in good ball. So, I do get it. You've made a really good point, but there's a lot of counter to that argument as well. Andy, today's game showed again good defense wins games, and that's it. That's what we saw from the four-peats, the four-peat Panthers. Defense through the start of the year and attack building and building and building. Teams that could beat them or go with them during the year can't get close when it comes to semis, and only the best teams can take them to the wire in a semi-final or a grand final. And to me, that's only been South Sydney in 2021 under Bennett, because he's just a professional at getting his side up. And obviously the Broncos of 23 and 2025 are the only two teams that have gotten close since the Panthers won their first premiership in that run. Bailey Hay was very good and played his role. Upper Mad Mick, good to see you, Big Roo. Welcome back, brother. Always comes in with a good one. And I'm fired up, as you can tell, brother. Short game, but wins a win. John Morris, g'day, John. Go you good things. Had money on you to winning Golden Point. Good on you, mate. Well done. Gamble responsibly. Luke Thompson, not a six, is hilarious to me. I like what's the other option? Buy Katoa, play a younger halfback. I just don't get it. Yeah, good call, brother. Not a 6, not a 7. Fuck me. What is the other option? What is the option? But Phil Flanner doesn't chase down Galvin. Yeah, you're right, Brian. And thank you for your donation today, Brian, to my walk. We did our first 5-kilometre walk this morning. and you can notice I haven't been hitting yous up tonight. It's been a great week with the super chats and stuff. And we're going to do the I'm going to spin the wheel for the Jacob Preston license plate before we finish the show. We need Ben Chikolowski. Oh, 2008, Harry. Fuck me. I remember coming home, second last game of the season. We're playing West Tigers, and I said to Mum, record the game. Don't tell me who wins. I get in after having a good night out. Had some stuff on. I had to take some people out and whatever else. And I come home and Mum goes, "Oh, bloody Bulldogs." So ruined it for me. But then we lost 50-0 or 52-0, I think, and we lost to Para by the same score a week later, or vice versa. But Ben Chikolowski, oh my God. Remember Hutch Mayava played in that 2004 year, probably in round one. Don't think we saw him again, maybe once or twice. Scored a try on debut against Para. He was all right, better than Ben. Overall, we don't win the collision in the forwards, lack leg drive and dominance. Maybe. I think, yet again, I'll take 16 wins and 8 losses any day of the week when we're developing our team. And we lack that. And we lack that enforcer type that we can't go and buy and we have to develop. I couldn't be prouder of them. They play the best way they know how to win. And as I said, what matters is how many meters you make and where you play the game and how much possession you have and what it says on the scoreboard at the end of the day and how you perform. Our team made the most meters in that game. Why? Because of the way we played. We restricted their meters. So for a team that was dominating our pack, we made an extra 8 meters per set than they did. So, and we both had the same amount of sets. So there you go.
All week, Michael, all week, whenever somebody was talking to the players or the coach, they kept saying, we just want to get the 2 points and get out of there. Get the 2 points and get out of there. That's all that mattered to them, guys. That's all that mattered to them. You know, doesn't matter how we got there. It's the 2 points for them. That's all that their focus was. Get the 2 points and get out of there. And they did that.
Brian, you're in for the plate, brother. Don't you worry about that. You're in for the plate. I put an entry in for you, brother. And I can do that, and I will do it. He didn't, because Brian's been he's a constant contributor. And everyone who is a member is in with a chance to win this tonight, to win the plate. And also everybody who entered the comp. And there's a lot of you that are paying members that did that as well. So you're all in with a chance. If I know your names. So, what do we got? What's happening, Gas? You back with us?
Yeah, mate, you can't hear me? Hello?
Timmy, you're not in for the plate, brother. You won the shirt. Shirt winners aren't in for the plate. You already won the shirt, brother, so well done. So I'm actually taking you out. People who won the shirts in the comp aren't in for the plate. So, Jack, you're not in. Timmy's not in, and Aki's not in. I know it's all good. But Brian's in. He's in. He's in for the plate. As is Lucas and a bunch of others. I think Lucas put an entry in anyway. Got a whole bunch of people. But he's back. Yeah, so you're welcome, my friend. Hey, people, let us. What's your thoughts on the calls and refereeing today, Andy? Look, I felt we got lucky with some, but there was also some which obviously weren't looked at by Flano and that. I actually haven't watched his press conference. We'll see the difference between the coaches here potentially.
Can you hear me, Mick?
I can hear you. Now you've gone out of...
Are you going to play his press conference, or do you want to know?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
If you want me to play the press conference
Hello?
and put your comments in, and we might stop it and start it a little bit. I've watched Ciraldo's, which was good. Enjoyed watching that. But let's put the press conference on, and hopefully it doesn't breach copyright. It shouldn't, but let's watch it anyway.
It's a loose carry, mate. Every day of the week, without a doubt. So there's that. There's a lot of others.
Just going to turn you down, Gas, while we watch it.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
As well. So we didn't get the rub of the green, that's for sure. And as I said, just disappointing, but it wasn't decided, in my view, the right way.
But I mean, in some sports, when a game goes to overtime or set and tennis, goes to tie break, they get an extra challenge. Would an extra challenge be in golden point matches because you used up yours in 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, definitely. That decision, whether it was going to be changed, I'm not quite sure. There's a couple of others that went to the bunker that I thought that were strange, to put it that way. Try and find a nice word about it. But we didn't get the rub of the green in any of those decisions. So whether we got it in the last 30 seconds, I'm not quite sure. I'll just reiterate, the game has been put on a real high pedestal, and I just thought tonight it shouldn't have been decided the way it was. NRL's done a great job. Our club's done a great job. The fans will decide. Good luck to the Bulldogs. They were good enough to win and kick the field goal. That's skill. But, yeah, I think we should have gone home 1 point each.
Lucky, what was your take on that?
Look, I'm always going to have a biased opinion, obviously out there in the heat of battle. But, you guys all watched it, all the fans watched it, so I haven't seen it back, so I'd have to wait. But I'm sure you guys probably have a better opinion than me at the moment. Like I said, I'm in a mix of it. I'm probably going to say should go our way, but that's just, how competitive we are and right in the battle.
I don't want to keep on focusing on the negatives. Like you said, it's been a great week, great promotion. But in the first half as well, we saw Stephen Crichton put on report for a high shot.
Yep.
The game earlier was a similar tackle on the plate. It's 10 minutes for that tackle. Just trying to look at some consistency use right there.
Mate, can you just write your words that you just said and put my name underneath it? Because I'm exactly the same. Like, seriously, come on. There was another one there that Setu 2 was running back to the ball. They kicked it in behind, and he's running back towards the ball. Kick out pushes him in the back, and they get a penalty. Like, seriously, mate, there was about 6 or 7 of them. Disappointing. But you're 100% right what you just said.
I think you came under fire for after basically saying you couldn't win the comp this year. The way they play today, I mean, if they aim up like that every single week, you're not going to win the comp.
Oh, you just said what I said.
You win a lot more games than you lose.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, we had a good footy team. What I said was, I think in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have said it, but on the other flip the coin over. If I say that we're going to win the comp, there's going to be as much criticism as probably more. We've got a good football team. Our club's on the way up. We're ready to go, and we're going to compete this year. We're going to be better next year and better the year after. We're a big club, and we're on the improve. So look out, jump on board or get off.
What did you like about Daniel Atkinson's first game?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to put too much pressure on him. He hasn't played a lot of games at halfback in the NRL. A handful at 80 minutes, that's for sure. He's come off the bench a lot of times. I thought he did a good job. His kicking was great. Competed really hard. He'll get better week in, week out.
Cookie, how did you find it out there with Daniel at the
the spine as a whole? How do you feel like you guys gelled together?
Yeah, I thought we gelled together really well, and I love playing with Acco for the first time. He's someone who takes the ball on. He's very competitive and looking to always take the game on, and I think that's where Kyle has a really good balance as well. It keeps us calm, keeps us to the game plan, and it's probably the same mix that Gutho and myself have. So really good mix amongst the spine. Tonight I felt like we're good. It was very, very loud out there, so it was hard to sort of communicate at times, but I feel like we got the play on quite well, so it's a good step in the right direction.
How do you think you guys handle Golden Point? I know you have to take out the last 30 seconds. How do you think as a team you handle Golden Point?
We could be a little bit better, especially in our field goal setup. But it was frantic, and a lot of fatigue goes into the game, and obviously, not that Damien got anything wrong, but he's played 80 minutes. So a lot goes into it. As I said, they just nailed theirs. Val's so good at that. We had 2 shots, I think, and Crichton just nailed his. That's the difference. A kick at goal was the difference. So Dragons fans, I think, will be pretty happy.
Shane, a nice moment for Setu getting the try on debut. What did you like about his performance?
He's a competitor. He's going to be a good player. He'll get better and better each week. Making his debut today, scored a good try, had a classy finish. Was really, really, really good under the high ball. So get better each week. Thank you.
So there you go, guys. Ryan says, respect to Cookie for basically saying no comment because of bias. But surely that's a $20,000 fine. And I actually saw I think when he watches the replay of Setu 2 running an escort, when I watched the first view of it coming back towards us, I thought, Kick-Out's pushed him in the back. But when you watch it for what the bunker is saying, that's an escort every day of the fucking week. Penalty to Bulldogs. See you later. Nothing to answer. And shoes on the other foot, on reflection, looking at the proper thing. You have got a scenario there where the right call was made. The loose carry thing, I can identify with that and agree. But we're in a position where we earn those calls because we were the better team. I felt we played better. They were gritty. And kept in that match. They fought to the end, the Dragons. They deserve a lot of credit. Daniel Atkinson answered a lot of critics. He's going to be a player for sure and did a good job. But yes, I think the Bulldogs deserve to win. They got the job done. And Flano has gone over the top there. If that's a precedent where he's allowed to basically say they got that decision completely wrong, especially when they didn't. He said it on numerous calls as well. So obviously not looking at his own. The difference between him and Ciraldo is Ciraldo would have said, we didn't dominate possession. We didn't dominate field position. We didn't get the calls. We didn't earn the calls. We missed 33 tackles, whatever it is. He would accept the decision and tell his team to be better. Take them out of the game. It's only rare when Ciraldo says, come on, give us a fucking break after a whole season of copping the wrong calls in nearly every game, where his team's actually following the process, doing what he wants, believing in the system, competing on every play. They don't get any rub of the green. He called it out finally. That's accountability. That's ownership. That's teaching your team they have to be better. They can't rely on the ref to give them every call. Can't rely on the ref ever to give them the calls. And it's, I call it the Sutton factor. You got to beat Sutton. And if you're not good enough to beat Sutton, you don't deserve to win. And Atkins, Couple of bad moments. G'day, Dylan. How are you? Red V bullshit. Get a kebab up ya. We were robbed, says Jag. I feel for you, Jag. As a Bulldog supporter in 2010, I know what it's like to be robbed. And the difference was the Dragons actually dominated that game against the Bulldogs in 2010. We hung in there, got it back, came home, won the game, had it stripped from us. But if you want to win, you need to beat the ref. You need to beat the opposition. You weren't the better side. You weren't robbed. You got a bad call at a bad time, and we were good enough to take advantage of it. Simple as that. But good luck to you, Jag, and good luck to the Dragons this year. Harry said he is going to subscribe to Bar, or he wants to subscribe to Bar TV. It's a good investment, people. It's $20. And I think if you got a mate, you can go halves in it and share the passwords. Obviously, that service costs a lot of money to do, even though some of the games have no commentary and whatever else. But it costs money to do all that, and that subscription's really important to them, being able to basically just pay for some of the costs that they incur to give us all that junior footy, which is really good. Atlas Astro, welcome to you. The boys hung in there, plenty to be excited about, but plenty of work to do. Thank you, Harry. Much appreciated, and good shout out for you as well, Atlas. He's the amazing Astro boy. Fucking love Astro. Atlas. My brother Atlas. Cherry and Tupanua dropped it cold. When? Oh, the loose carry. Maybe. Tupanua copped the shoulder to the fucking face, mate. Sorry. Go watch it. He copped the shoulder to the face. End of story. End of story. Yeah, I can accept loose carry for but the ref called it. Play on, reset your line, get things done. Don't let Crichton get the fucking field goal. The reason you guys missed field goals is because of the pressure our Bulldogs put on, and we were onside too. It's the team that outworked yours. The Dragons did their best. Very good side. A lot of good upside. Flanagan, in my opinion, they're good enough to compete for September. They lost, 12 games by less than 6 points. Good juniors, lots to come for the Dragons. Big rivalry will remain. And, that's 5 in a row for the Dogs, and deservedly so.
Six in a row.
G'day. And how you going? What do you know? We'll strike a lot. Any news on Crido? Would get charged for the falling head high tackle? I do not believe.
Can you hear me, mate?
Oh, I can. Sorry, I had you really quiet.
That was 6 in a row, by the way. That was 6 in a row, by the way, not 5.
Oh, is it?
6 in a row now. So we're only 1 away from equaling the record against St George Illawarra, which was 7.
Oh, there you go. Well, I reckon we make it 8 in a row.
Yep.
We get him again, and then we get him in a semi, hopefully.
That was a very disappointing press conference by Flanagan. It's understandable, that you're frustrated, especially for Golden Point. But
yep.
I think it sounded like the media was baiting him, and he played right into their hands. And
yeah.
I mean, you can't start the year off like that. He's much more experienced than that. He knows better. We had a lot of calls go against us, especially early in the game. There was a few things that didn't, and at one stage I think there was 58% possession to 42 in the first 20 minutes. So I know we switched that around to 52-48, but they were controlling the game. They had the rub of the green. Things were going their way. So he hasn't done a video analysis, sat there, gone through the game, and had a look at all the calls to make this judgment of his. It's just golden point frustration. It happens, but he's been baited into saying it, and he played right into their hands. It's wrong. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's exactly why they give fines. It's because they don't want them to be inciting these things that are not supposed to be there. Basically he's saying the ref was biased. That's what he's trying to say. He went against us and he was harsh, etc. Which he should know better. So, but the media should be just as much to blame for that, because they ask him questions. They know that if they get an answer to it, then it's going to be sensationalized. So, he either just says no answer, no comment, or be just very diplomatic. That's it, and move on.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the Bulldogs.
Yep.
I'm going to watch the Bulldogs press conference in a moment. Harry, I'm 2 from 2 as well. Tipped the Knights. Didn't know why, but I knew quickly after starting. Much tougher initialisation. You're playing the Dogs in a trial. Initiation. Ponga did pretty well, mate. He had a very good game. And obviously the fast track worked out well for him. Matty Johns was full on.
That was a very interesting passage of play there when Sharp got injured, and that allowed them, the Cowboys, back in the game. It was clearly hampered, and if you ran anyone against him, you knew he was going to struggle, and they isolated him with the bloke you don't want to be isolated with. I mean, he would have beaten most players. Yeah, he would have beaten most players, and that shifted the momentum of the game. I mean, they were fortunate to get the result in the end, but I think that there's a bit of responsibility there from the Knights to make sure that they get that right, and they didn't. So that luckily it didn't cost them the game.
Yeah. Jag says Critter was a prick, lucky to stay on the field today. Deserved a draw. No one deserved to lose. Look, I think a draw would have been a fair result. If that's what happened, and both teams would be lamenting opportunities, but that wouldn't have changed. If we get the penalty and Critter misses the goal, it's a draw, right? We had to win it, and we did, and that's what happened. The Dragons didn't win. Critter, that's what annoyed me in that press conference, for the media person to sit there and say, Braden Burns shouldn't have been sent to the sin bin either, in my opinion. The guy fell into the tackle. There's mitigating circumstances. This is the whole idea of it. This is what I'm saying. You can't penalise people. Give them a penalty, sure, but you cannot penalise with sin bins on retrospective camera angles when people are down low and falling into tackles. And fucking Critter was less than a metre above the ground. He gets lower than most players in defence, right? Setu obviously falling. He went to nail the guy. I felt that winger did a really good job, and 27 years old, been fighting for first grade, got his opportunity, and he's a really good player. And but Critter should not have been sin bin for that. Too many mitigating circumstances, chasing a kick chase, down low. Be different if he didn't bend into the tackle. He's fucking benzy. When you bend your back like that, you should never, ever be sent off. Sorry. Suaalii, when he hit Reece Walsh, hit him about a metre and a bit off the ground, right? And had launched with his eyes closed. Critter was lower, way lower. It makes a difference. It's important. I get the passion, and good on you, mate. You need to stick by your team. They deserve to have passionate fans who see it only in their way. That's how you go about it. But, you'll get some games where you'll earn those calls if you keep competing and win. And you're getting closer.
What about
the Dogs? Good.
What about Birdo in front of the post? He stayed down. There was clearly an arm that came around and smacked him in the head.
Yeah.
He didn't even get a penalty for that. What? That was a clear swing around the head. Are you telling me that there's any difference when you swing? I think it was Jonathan Sewer. Oh, sorry, I think it was Sewer. So it was clearly in the head, and then he didn't even get a penalty for that, right in front of the post.
There you go. But thanks for coming and watching, Jag. Andy says Holmes had his chance and failed. Critter kicks and scores. Dogs win. End of story. Play on. Jag says Sedu 2 was a great on debut, as was Atkinson. Yep, good call. Atlas Astro. Harry says Hope Sharp didn't cop an ACL. It looked like MCL to me. What a player is he? Jag, I hear there are no participation awards in the NRL, bud. 2 points, rough. There you go. There was more intent on the shoulder to Satilli than Critter's tackle. Both players stayed on the field 100%. Good debut. And Andy says Holmes had his chance and failed. Critter kicks and scores. Dogs win. Let's watch the Bulldogs presser with Critter and
Ciraldo.
Cameron Ciraldo. Thank you. Yes. You can tell I'm almost out of gas.
Yeah, it was really fitting for him to get it on one of those big stages today.
Critter, can you describe that final play there? Was there always a plan to go to you?
Yeah, we've got a few options there. Me, Birdo, always in a position to have a crack at it, and Milky's kind of that last pass, and whoever he kind of feels play the ball speed, whichever pass he wants to go to, whoever the ball goes to, just have a crack. If you get it, you get it, and if you miss, you live with it as long as you give it 100%. So this time was my turn, and lucky enough, I got it.
What was the penalty leading up to it plus the cherry? Dragons obviously going to say it was a loose carry. Did you have any thoughts on the penalty there?
No, I didn't see it. Oh, well, yeah. There was heaps of calls during the game that go either way. We're that high up. I don't know if you know where we sit, but they look like ants on the field, so I didn't have a great view of it, to be honest.
They say they didn't get the rub of the green, and 6 or 7 decisions went against them.
Yeah, there was a couple early that went against us. That's why I was really proud of the way we hung in there. Like, we got escorted off the ball early and then went down there, and we apparently did an escort, and then they took 2 points to, get the first couple of points. So, yeah.
Sarah, how proud are you of Milky Galvin the week? And he's only a young kid, on big stage, round one. How proud are you of him?
Oh, very proud. Said all pre-season, his best ability at the moment is his ability to learn. He's a 20-year-old halfback, and he's learning really quickly. If you think about all the really good halfbacks and what they were like at 20, he's tracking in a great direction. So he's learning really quickly. I thought what he's been able to learn over the pre-season, then some lessons he took out of the Newcastle trial and took into tonight, I thought was good. He'll get better and better. He's committed to his craft, and he'll get better every game and every year.
Now that you've got the win, can you tell us a little bit about the pressure? Was there more pressure leading up when you do more come over, the sponsors, the fans? Heavy on you during the week?
No, to be honest, not really. But I don't have to play, so might be a better question for the boys. But what I know is when we got to the ground today, I said to the boys, it's like our preparation has been 10 out of 10. So that's one tick, but then you got to go out and do it for 80 minutes. And you got to make sure your mindset's in the right place. And I thought they did a really good job of that. It was clunky. It's round one, and I don't think anyone. I don't think there've been any teams that play their first game of the year and aren't clunky at some points. But yeah, preparation was awesome. Performance was good. But yeah, that's the closest thing you get to a grand final, I feel like the week, the build up, the atmosphere. So that's just going to be a great experience for our guys, especially our young players.
Just getting that win, you use it like a bit of a springboard now, going home, so you really launch your season.
Oh, possibly, but we've got 19 days before our next game, so we'll go home and get into a bit of work, and we don't really need to focus on our next game until probably the week leading up to that. So we'll go home, recover firstly, and get some work in, and then look at our next opponent.
You mentioned before, it's been so important, so inspirational to this group. I think he was placed on report for a high shot, again, you're worried there.
No, he was nearly on the ground. Like he was, no, not at all.
And you had obviously a clutch moment in very fast. I'm not pretending that's the biggest moment ever for you. But where is just the emotion of build up to a game in Las Vegas, and then when you get your field goal about 5 seconds ago, like you charge back? Like, where's that sort of rank in terms of just big moments, given the context?
Yeah, truly blessed to be in that moment, but probably credit to our coach and our coaching staff. We train for those moments throughout the whole year. And then when it's on the biggest lights, you always fall back to your training, and the way that the boys held in there, like basically 90 minutes of the game, kind of gave me that shot at the end. But I definitely wouldn't have had that without the play the balls before mine, and just the setup plays before that, and obviously Milky's pass too. So it was definitely a team effort, and I'll probably get a lot of praise for that last kick. But if it wasn't for the boys sticking in there all the way to the end, probably wouldn't have had that shot in the first place. So yeah, team effort.
Do you feel like this sort of stage is the kind of thing that brings out the best in you then, like sort of the clutch plays in grand finals and whatnot?
Best in me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Once I knew that we'll come into Vegas, it's a very long week, but the biggest thing that I fall back on is my preparation, and having confidence in myself that I've done the work, so that when I come out here, whether it's a mistake or as long as I'm doing everything 100% and just teaching these boys, just trusting the process and enjoying it when it's away as well. You never know when you're going to be in Vegas again, so some off-field stuff as well, and just connecting with the boys there and building that connection for on the field too. And probably most of the plays tonight, the boys made me look good too. So if it wasn't for the boys, like I said, I wouldn't be in those positions to kind of make those big plays.
It's 3 weeks to your next game. How do you treat this next job? Do you give them a period off and they get home, or do you not do that?
Yeah, well, we've got a plan there. Like 90-minute game sort of wasn't what we were expecting, but we had 2 wingers come back from injury there. Bailey Hayward, who was outstanding tonight, he got through 90 minutes there. So some of those guys will need a bit of a rest and recover, and then have a couple of days off, and then we'll get back to work.
But I looked fine out there. Was there any concern leading into this about him?
No. He kept hitting roofs and speakers and all that, so there was no concern about him. He's fine. Would you bring this up again? Oh, gonna ask me tomorrow morning. We'll see how we go there. But it was a fantastic experience. Like I've watched Vegas for a couple of years, and like to play to core and things like that. But to be over here this week is outstanding. We're so privileged. The way the NRL's put it on has been outstanding. The way our fans have come over and embraced it. We're so privileged that they come over and supported us. So yeah, really happy with it at the moment. But ask me another day.
Chris, being someone, an athlete and captain, what is a cultural value that you have that will help you throughout the rest of the season and help with this team?
Probably just respect and honouring the elders. We've got a lot of young boys coming through as well, and just being that leader for them as well, not just on the field, but off the field too. And obviously born overseas in Samoa, and just trying to shine that light. You've seen another Samoan kid today, obviously on the opposite side, but debuting, and you could see how proud their family is. And just want to shine that light to young Polynesian kids, regardless if you're Samoan, that you can make it from wherever you're born. And that's probably my biggest one, and just the young kids coming through.
Just start a second half golden point. The blue and white crowd really erupted, but just the whole travelling supporters, how good were they this whole week getting behind you guys? It seems to be the
Yeah, we always speak about how privileged we are to be a Bulldog, and that's what you get when you're a Bulldog. You get travelling fans, travelling from Australia just to come and support us, and we could hear them from the start all the way to the end. And like a club like the Dogs as well, they brought all of our staff over too, so it's definitely a privilege to be a part of it. And it's just so grateful to be in this position right now, and you never know when it's going to be your last game, so you always kind of give it back to those fans that travelled over, so massive shout out to them.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
There you go, people. There you go. Any takeaways from that, Gas, while you're on the road there, brother?
Yeah, I think he even made mention of Milky's pass, mate, like Hayward's pass to him. So he knows how important that was to execute that play. That was very important. I mean, obviously he's always going to. He's not a individual, so he's always going to downplay his achievements and bring it back to the team. But look, Ciraldo echoed exactly what we're saying. Like, yes, they are going to be clunky. No one's going to be perfect. And it's the first game of the year and all these sorts of things. So people keep looking for perfection and all these 30-0. And even a lot of people, even in the week, were predicting 28-4 and 30-0 and all these other scores. But at the end of the day, it's, if you don't get those big wins, does it mean you didn't play well? Does it mean the opposition? We didn't play our best game. And the Dragons played as good as they could play, I felt. Like they played very well. They were very desperate. They really tried to upset us. And it's something we didn't talk about. That first half, that last sort of 10 minutes, they really tried to engage us in the niggle and start these push and shoves and all these things that were trying to take us away from our game when we were starting to get on top.
Exactly.
So,
we owned the second half of the first half. We actually owned that 40 minutes either side of half time. We were better and looked like we were going to do some great things. And they did. They tried to get into our face and mess things up because they were under pressure.
Correct. So that's what they were trying to. They were trying to get that niggle. They tried. The ref was losing control. He called the captains out. Like all these things to try to put us off. Like you said, the execution by Cookie, with that kick was a great try. Like he got behind. There was only one player from the Dragons chasing, and he got the ball. So we should have done better to defend that. But it was still an executed great play. But around that, they did everything they could to upset us. But we just kept hanging in there, and we controlled the game. And when you think about it, how often does a player cop a penalty like the way that King did? Coming back, Carraz is not going to be expecting that he's not onside because already there's been a tackle when Critter got tackled. So it was the second play, and he still hadn't got behind to play the ball, which is why it was a penalty. So how often is that going to happen where that could have almost given the game, that's what kept it close, those 2 points. So, a lot of these little things, like, it's hard to look at, but we did what we had to do. And if it was a draw, I would have felt like it was a loss for us because I still thought we were the better team. We had more chances. We probably should have executed the field goal when we got that scrum, 5 minutes to go where we didn't even have it set up for it. 3 minutes by the time we did that, we should have executed that better. But having said all that, there's a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, a lot of fatigue. And when you're fatigued, guys, different things happen in your mind. Decisions that you make, things that happen, you don't just think clearly. They were thinking, I can tell you what they were thinking. Instead of everyone's going to expect us just to set up for the field goal, so we're going to set the players deep or we're going to go for the try. That's what they were probably thinking. We'll double bluff it. And, we'll try to get them rushing up to save it or something, and we'll go for it. We'll go for the field goal. We'll go for the try. That's what they would have thought. But at the end of the day, they thought they did what they thought was right at the time based on their mental capacity that they had left in the game. So for me, 2 points is like gold, especially when you have a game like that against an absolutely desperate team. Take the 2 points and put it proudly on the wall and own it. And then let's go to Canberra and see if we can upset them at home in Canberra and then start the season again in Australia. We're very fortunate we got that time. So it's harder for us now coming back. Coming back to Australia is always harder on the jet lag rather than going over. Thankfully we've got enough time where there's no excuses. All the players can be rested smartly and get back into their methods. And, Ciraldo answered, obviously he was a winning coach, but he answered as a winning coach, but also he was very diplomatic about something he could have argued about as well. He was, we were sitting up there, they looked like ants, we couldn't see them, etc., etc. He didn't want to cause anything to have, leave that for the opposition, mate. And he did that well.
That's it.
So
all right, guys.
Well,
I'm going to do the winning draw in a moment. It's been a really great week. 7 days in a row we've gone. Big thank you to Gas, who's done an amazing job this week, and everyone who has contributed so many ways. I'm walking again tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll do a live. I'll do a live on many of the days trying to raise money. We've already got over 600, up about $650. So we made more money today with a walk. There'll be lots of spam asking for money, guys. Just ignore that. It's just the quickest way for me to do it if you've already donated and stuff. But yeah, share it around to your networks. Support mental health if you can for veterans. If that's you're happy to support that charity, I'm walking to for that. I love what Brian said here. He shed a tear seeing at the privilege to be, when Critter says privilege to be a Bulldog, brought a tear to his eyes. He gets how us fans feel about the team. Timmy full of pride, the way Ciro and Critter spoke in the press conference. Andy moves over. All eyes on the Canberra Raiders. That's it. We'll be studying them closely next week and the week after. Timmy also made a shout about we've got Jersey Flag and New South Wales Cup coming in next week. So that'll be a big watch for us. And we'll do a big focus on that. Harry says, and we're the first team of Ace history to play in a Golden Point game and win. We're history makers, Harry. And Harry, I'm thinking what we need to do is you, me, and Gas need to watch a game of footy together, and just do like just watch a game, commentate it, talk about what we see. We might do that a couple of times. Lee Addison, the rugby league coach, he actually loves doing that stuff as well. So we might even bring in an expert, former NRL assistant coach, World Cup, undefeated World Cup coach with some of the Minows in Poland and America and stuff like that. And does a great coaching program and wrote the rugby league book that I've shared around to a few people who have won some comps, including Jack Barber, who won the T-shirt today. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Timmy and Akram. We'll be doing a preview of Jersey Flag and New South Wales Cup, potentially as good as I can. Obviously, it'll be the first game. I won't know everyone in and out. But I will be bringing some Bulldogs fans who do have a key eye on our juniors and watch them religiously. I've spoken to a couple of people who are really invested and have that time to do that. And I'll bring them on and give a little preview and their thoughts on things as well throughout the year. Brian says, thanks to you, Gas, and to me. Thanks for all we do. Where is Gas from? Gas is Australian. He's born here, aren't you, Gas?
Yes, mate. Canterbury Bankstown Hospital.
Canterbury Bankstown Hospital. Lebanese parents?
Yes.
Beautiful. Timmy says you'll join us in the commentary box. You're a bit quiet, Timmy. You're a bit bloody quiet, mate. You'll have to come out of that shell a bit more. You know, you got Harry in there. We won't hear you, Timmy, when Harry's in the room. Or Gas. Or me, for that matter. Let's commentate our next meeting later this year, mate. Would you be interested? I'll have a look, Jag. Is that you, Jesse? Is that you from Mad V podcast, Jag? Is that you, Jesse? I'm not sure if it is or not. Let me know if it is, Jess. Timmy loves your passion as well. Any last thoughts, Gas, while I get the wheel up on the screen for us to announce our winner?
Yeah. Probably about a 95% chance that I'll be at Belmore on Saturday for the New South Wales Cup match for the Bulldogs against the Dragons. Okay, so
do a live
I
stream.
think, if I'm going to be there, there's every chance I'll probably do a live stream, and we'll probably have the banner there as well, guys. We might as well support our New South Wales Cup, give them a bit of love as well, yeah. So if anyone's going to be down there, generally my favourite spot, if they're allowing us on the opposite side, is around that sort of 50-metre line on the wooden benches there on the opposite side of the grandstand. So yeah, That's my old spot from the 80s and 90s.
So look, Jag was on from the Mad V Dragons podcast that I was on earlier in the week. I didn't get to watch the vodcast. I'll go and watch the replay though, guys. Obviously, he would have been very upset and in a true echo chamber, I'm sure, as we are here. But it's great to have a Dragons fan come in and voice their concerns. And I totally get it, mate. I totally understand it, as you know I do. But, yeah, we'll definitely have a look at potentially doing a joint review of a game or something where we watch the game. Obviously, you can't stream it. It's a breach of copyright. But unless you make it look almost, we'll do what they do on some of those boxing matches where you just change everything. You blow it up too much, zoom in too much, all that sort of stuff. But too much effort. Anyway, I'm going to bring this wheel up, random wheel, and then we're going to do it, and then we'll be off, people. Here we go, guys. Give me the drum roll, Gas. If you're driving, actually, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, mate. You probably
I'll do it.
You probably want to cover that, mate. Yeah.
TC Chapman, you are the winner. Hopefully you're watching. I've got your phone number and email. I will get into contact with you for the Jacob Preston. Jacob Preston, beautiful stuff there. Thank you, Gas. The license plate. Now, if you don't want the license plate, some people say, no, I don't really want a prize. I wanted the shirt or whatever. It could come back in play later on, guys. I always say that, just as you know, or they might ask if I've got something else, which has happened before a few times. So I have got one for the Fox as well. So you can choose Jacob or the Fox or whatever. So we'll talk about that. Well done to you, TC. Wonderful work. And a big thank you to everyone who supported the channel, guys, supported Footyhead. If you haven't already gone and followed Footyhead on Instagram and Facebook, go do it anyway. Subscribe to their list. Support Bulldog supporters. Doing something a little bit differently. It's a little bit different to us promoting our own merch and stuff like that. If you want Dogfather stuff, you let me know. I can come up with some ideas or whatever. But I know I like me Dogfather merch, but I'm the Dogfather. I'm going to wear it. So there you go. On your TC. Good night, Harry. And thanks, everyone. Been a great week. We will be going again on Tuesday. We're going to have a break tomorrow night and then back to sort of doing articles, a lot more articles I'll get done on the media site, on our youngsters, focus on our youngsters coming through and, getting some videos done and that sort of stuff, just highlighting players and whatever else. Timmy says, thanks, Mick and Gaz. I love Formula One or car streaming. Drive safely, Gas. Have a great evening, everyone. Go the Dogs. Thank you, Gasson. Your mic's muted, mate. Your microphone's muted. I don't know how, but it is. He was back for a second, but it's gone out again. This can happen sometimes, mate. Anyway, Gas, big thanks to you, buddy. We're going on. Your mic's
okay, what about
awesome.
now, mate? Can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great week,
all good, mate. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thanks a lot for your support and your generous donations all week as well.
Beautiful. Much. We'll get back onto that next Tuesday, and we'll switch over to Buy Me a Coffee. I'll get the memberships in play for that as well. But great job, everyone. Night, everyone. We job done. We won the fucking game. Hell yeah. Go the Dogs. And here's a little message
more
for
countdowns.
from some Bulldogs.
Yo, what up, guys? Want to give a massive shout out to All Things Bulldogs. If you guys haven't watched their podcast, check them out. Let's go.
Hey guys, Tuesday nights, All Things Bulldogs podcast. Make sure you get onto it. Go the Doggies.
Shout out All Things Bulldogs. Every Tuesday night, mate.
All Things Bulldogs, mate.
All Things Bulldogs, YouTube, Tuesday night.
Tuesday
live.
night. That's it. Every week, mate.
All Things Bulldogs. Big shout out. Up the Doggies.
Every Tuesday night we do a podcast, mate. Our biggest supporters, mate. All Things Bulldogs. Yeah. Josh.